Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by the Ground Control Cyclops Brewer from Voga Coffee. The Ground Control Brewer is taking batch brew coffee to new heights, and it is really changing the game for what we can expect from our coffee. The SCA award-winning technology gives you the ability to extract and control a range of flavors that you never thought possible from your coffee. And not only does this make amazing batch brew coffee, but it also makes hot chocolate, tea, batched iced lattes, batched cold brew concentrate for nitro. There's so much versatility in this machine on top of being a game changer in terms of quality. It's something that I highly recommend to you. If you want quality and versatility in your shop, look into getting a Ground Control Cyclops Brewer. You can find out more information and reach out to them when you go to the website groundcontrol.coffee. On that website, you'll find a breakdown of what the Ground Control does, who's using it, even where you can taste coffee from this machine, as I have, and it really is mind-blowing. Again, that website to find out more information, groundcontrol.coffee. Today's episode is also brought to you by La Marzocco. La Marzocco espresso machines have been handmade in Florence since 1927. La Marzocco espresso machines are the quintessential espresso machines for the specialty coffee industry. And in all of their business and how they innovate with their technology, it's all based in responding to the needs of their customers. Back in 2018, La Marzocco USA created a competition called Crush the Rush that focused on testing speed, efficiency, and consistency of baristas on bar. And one of the pieces of equipment that was highlighted on there that highlights their value so much is the KB90 espresso machine. It has a straight-in portafilter technology for speed and ergonomics, auto flush for increased cleanliness, built-in scales for improving consistency, and that competition really hit at the heart of what it means to work in a busy cafe. So if you're in the market for a new espresso machine, then you definitely need to reach out to them over at lamarzocco.usa.com, and they're also available to talk with you one-on-one. You just need to contact one of their sales directors by emailing info@lamarzocco.usa.com. Okay, well, today I wanted to talk to you about something that might be a little bit overdue for Keys to the Shop. You see, we talk a lot on the show about systems, processes, operations, things like that. And you might get the impression that, that is what matters, is optimization. But there is a point at which optimization can go too far. In fact, there is a point at which being too efficient, too systematic, actually will get you the opposite of what you hoped it would get you in the beginning. See, in the beginning, when we're talking about systems and we really want them, let's say that I'm with a client and there is inconsistency, there is a feeling of stress, there's a feeling of chaos, and there's shortages in inventory. There's all this stuff going on. We're working on figuring out the root cause, the solutions, and it usually takes the form of some kind of system or steps to achieve operational consistency and optimization, efficiency on bar. All of these things are really, really good. But to what end? What does the optimization of your bar and the systems that support it, what does it serve? Who does it serve? Well, ultimately, the answer is that it supports the people, right? It supports the customers, your staff, and the exchange between them that is your brand. That product is the experience. The experience is the product. And so when you focus on optimization, when you focus on anything too much, it can tend to bite you in the butt. And how it happens with optimization is that you end up focusing so much on it could be better, it could be better, it could be better, over and over again, that you ignore the fact that it is better now. And you rob yourself and your team of the joy of seeing progress. Sometimes optimization is a pretty joyless obsession because it never takes time to be satisfied with what has been accomplished. Sometimes you reach a peak of optimization and you have to be okay with it being the way it is. you don't want to call that something like the status quo, because that makes it sound like, oh, that's just the way things are. Well, if the way things are is what you're happy with, and it's working, and it's producing something that brings you joy, and you're thriving, then it's not the status quo. That's a standard. Not everything that's current or what is a status quo in that sense, because that word, again, is loaded with negative implications. So the key here is to realize that not everything related to a coffee shop is about systems and numbers and math and making it all work out and fit into the proper columns. It's just like we've been talking with coffee roasters on the show through the Rate of Rise series and other episodes. There is a lot of measurement that needs to happen in the process of roasting coffee for repeatability, so that you know how to approach new coffees and things like that. Yes, you need measurements, you need standards, and you want to have those controls. However, there is an element in roasting where there is a feel, an intuition that you develop. There is a soft skill of taste interpretation in developing a sense for what you want your portfolio of coffees to offer experientially to the customers. The same thing is true with a coffee bar. If you're looking at management or training, customer service, you can have and should have standards and goals. You should have controls over those things to a degree. But when you go too far, you basically suck the life and the fun out of seeing those things work. You don't give time for celebration. You can see it happen where if you make progress in one area, you just take it for granted, move on to the next area. Everybody feels pretty proud of themselves, but in your eyes, it's just, this should be the way it is, so we're not going to really celebrate this. Let's move on to the next thing. Well, guess what? All of the life and joy you're sucking out of this moment is going to affect how well people respond to the next change that you try to drive down the lane the next time around. And what you'll find is people start disengaging with the change process or the optimizations that are critical, right? So I guess the message here for all of us is that in our quest to maintain proper controls, systems, and optimizations, efficiencies in the coffee bar, we have to remember that this is still a human business, that relationships can sometimes fly in the face of some of those efficiencies. These are tools that we use to serve people, and we don't serve our tools. And so as you listen to Keys to the Shop and you read books and blogs and other podcasts and learn about how to run a great coffee bar, a great roastery, that there is a balance. Optimization taken too far takes the people out of the coffee shop. And what you're left with after that is a really efficient business, but nobody to enjoy it. So I hope that this episode was helpful for you and spoke to maybe a situation we find yourself in right now. And again, thank you so much for listening to the show. And I will see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break from Keys to the Shop.